Thoughts are inevitable, integral, and normal part of centering prayer. Sometimes people will come up to me and say, well, I guess the main goal of centering prayer is to have no thoughts. And I always say to them, if you had no thoughts, you'd be brain dead. You'll be brain dead. And that's why our spirit of centering prayer we call heartfulness, not mindfulness, because the mind and the thoughts play a very important part. Because when thoughts come up, and again, you know that can be commentaries and feelings and judgments and past memories and so on and so forth, when they're coming up, they're going out. Because you're consenting to God's presence and action. The action is a healing, and most of the time the greatest healing is to let go of something that's there. I've often kidded with people when they talk about the night of sense and the night of spirit, and they say, try to have me explain it to them, and I say, there's a more powerful night. It happens at night in our life. Sometimes just before we get off to sleep, what do we find ourselves worried about, thinking about? In the middle of the night when we wake, many times people will say to me, and I experience in my own life, there's a certain pattern of what we're worrying about or concerned about. Am I making sense? And for some of us, it seems we wake up to a particular thought or a feeling or a concern. All this is the raw material of transformation. And so if we realize that these thoughts are bubbling on our surface of our being, just below our consciousness many times, that when they come up in prayer, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if there's a pattern that's there. It's just a gentle reminder, would you please let it go? Or would you please do something about it? But I would say 90% of the time, it's would you please just let it go? Don't take a 2-minute commercial and turn it into a Wagnerian opera. And that's what happens when we begin to think upon thoughts and think the thoughts and think the thoughts. So when you're in the period of prayer, it's amazing. You have your eyes closed, you enter into the prayer, you begin to worry about things you always worried about. Ever so gently return to the sacred word. You let it come, you let it go. You begin to judge how your prayer is going. Ever so gently return to the sacred word. You let it come, you let it go. I could be doing something more important at this time. Ever so gently return to the sacred word. You let it come, you let it go. Memories come of the past, some pleasant, some not too pleasant. Ever so gently return to the sacred word. Let it come and let it go. Sometimes people will say, maybe this is God giving me a special message and I better take care of it right away. Just ever so gently return to the sacred word. Let it come, let it go. Since when do we listen the first time? It'll come back again. Ever so gently return to the sacred word. There's a wonderful story told about one of our folks in the Seattle area who was one of the beginning forces for the contemplative outreach movement out there. And he was into dreams, very much into dreams. In the middle of the night, he would jot the dream down. He was almost a knee-jerk reaction. He had his little pad next to him. And he tells the story when he realized he should let the thoughts go, especially within the context of the centering prayer, because he was very much involved with social action. And in the prayer, he heard a solution on how to feed the hungry of the world. This is a true story. And he wrote it down. And in the morning he woke up, and God has a sense of humor. If you have a relationship, God teaches us more in our humorous failings, if you would, than in our profound successes. And he looked at what he wrote down. It said Xerox donuts. Xerox donuts. And it dawned on him Peter, please, for God's sakes, don't be looking for a message in this prayer. Let me use this as a particular time to make the clearing so that you can hear what you need to hear outside the prayer time. Thoughts are inevitable. They'll always be there. Integral, they're the meat of the prayer. Normal, that's the way it should be. And the beauty of it all is in the space of the prayer, when you let go of a thought, you'll never really know how much emotional damage in your life is being cleared or whatever is being healed. You won't know it. Because in our next talk, we'll talk about the how to extend it into daily life. And what we do find out is the fruits of the prayer are not experienced while you're praying. The fruits of the prayer are experienced outside the prayer time when you get about your business and all of a sudden you notice changes taking place in your life that did not come from resolutions, but came because you consented and allowed the Lord, as Thomas likes to call the divine therapist, to work on you on a much deeper level. Pray your prayers. Do your meditation. Tell God how much you love God from your heart. But finish the story, if you would, and allow that special silent time to enter into your life so that healing can go on a much deeper level. Remember, thoughts lead to desires. Desires lead to passion. Passion leads to action. We'll never change our action until we notice that our desires and passions are fueled by some thoughts that either lead us to growth or lead us to misery. When you can learn to let go of certain thoughts in your life, or complete the sentence, or put on the mind of Christ, you open up to yourself a whole wonderful territory to explore. And that you'll look back and say to yourself, why was I stuck on that? Well, because you wanted to be right rather than be free. And now you're realizing being right isn't the most important time all the time. But being free is very important. It's like that wonderful story Thomas talks about the little monkey who wouldn't let go. Remember? A little story about the coconut. You break the coconut in half, put sweet meat in there, make a little hole, glue it together again, put it in the middle of the field. The little monkey comes, smells that sweet meat, puts its little hand into the coconut, makes the fist, trying to get the sweet meat in. I'm going to get my way. I mean, after all, I know that what's right here. My goodness me. And they're trying. It's not working. It's not working. And meanwhile, the hunters are moving in closer and closer and closer. And they kill them, skin them, cook them, eat them, and pass them. And all he had to do was what? Let go. Whenever we are engaged with our thoughts in the centering prayer, doesn't mean you live in la-la land. But at that particular period of time, whenever we let go of our thoughts that we're engaged in and ever so gently return to our sacred word, we finally say, I'm going to let this go and see what happens. I'm going to let this go and see what happens. No, I'm not going to form a committee. I'm going to let this go and just see what happens. That's freedom. That's not a doormat. That's not becoming a wimp. It's living a life that's focused and based on a freedom that allows you in a very, very special way to truly consent to God's presence and action in your life. Thoughts are inevitable, integral, normal part of centering prayer. There are no distractions in centering prayer unless you get up and leave. Normal, integral. What's the third one? Inevitable part of the prayer. So we invite you to that freedom that allows you to make judgments outside of the prayer time that brings life and not just death to your spirit. Free at last, free at last. Almighty God, I'm free at last.